Hi, everybody. My name is Bradley Conan, and today I'm going to be walking you through my applied project business plan. My applied project is for an application that will be a digital sports card. Now, I've considered a number of different ways to present this, and I'd like to keep it under 15 minutes. So I'm going to be walking through the slide deck here, which will outline some of the key components of my business plan, as well as I'll key in on some specific areas like the mobile development costs, user personas, as well as monetization strategies, sales and marketing aspects, things like that, which I think you will find probably most important. As we get into the contents of the business plan itself, you can see that I have broken it down into a number of different components. An executive summary, company description, a marketing analysis, sales analysis, as well as financial operations and a risk analysis. So before we get into the actual business plan, what exactly is this concept that I'm talking about? Essentially, the best way I can describe it is it's an application for parent-preserving memories. As a father of two young men who grew up playing sports, like many parents, captured many special moments and photographs over the years. One of the challenges I had was keeping them organized, number one, but also having a place where I could store them in an organized fashion. And as a parent of an athlete, the other thing I found that would have been helpful for my student athletes would have been a platform such as the one I'm putting forth this project for, would be a place that an athlete can control their brand, one which puts them in the best possible light. And so to that extent, that is how we came up with the idea for SportsCard. So if we're looking at my business plan specifically, I have many areas of focus, starting with some current trends. In my business plan, I talk about some current trends in technology, digital sports trading cards, as well as analytics. And the first part of my business plan is the executive summary. In this executive summary, I discuss the product, the unique benefits of the product, customer demographics, as well as some of the overall business objectives. And to that extent, our digital sports card is unique, and it will target specifically youth athletes ages 10 to 17, and our objective is to build a social network for athletes users free of charge. Other aspects of the business plan and other benefits of the business plan talk about how SportsCard will be a platform that athletes can stay connected everywhere by simply accessing our product. And those benefits include providing a space where athletes will have a community for sharing their stories through photos, video, direct messages, and the SportsCard Messenger application will make it easier for athletes to connect with other groups, other people, as well as businesses. When I talk about the company description, I get into our mission statement. I go into depth about our vision and the principal members. The principal members are myself, will be the project manager and co-owner, as well as Rich Holtman, who will be the chief technology officer. Tina Kepper-Height will be doing the accounting for us, and Rich's significant other, Kathleen, who handles the billing, shipping, and administrative functions of his current business, will also manage those aspects of ours. The company description, I talk about the legal structure, our business objectives, some of the key strengths and core competencies. I go into a little bit of depth about our business highlights, and I also talk about our future goals as an organization. When I did my marketing analysis, I looked specifically at the industry, and looking specifically at that, I found that the digital revolution has created a very robust economy for the digital trading card market, and this would also include esports athletes. I talked about some of the key opportunities that currently exist in the marketplace, as well as the strategic opportunities, as there has been a number of increased participation rates, especially in hockey. Again, when I talk about our demographics, I discuss not only youth athletes, but I also provide some summary information about parents as well as grandparent demographics we will be targeting. As part of that market analysis, I talk about the hockey ecosystem. I also, as part of this process, have created a CRM database on EngageBay, and I have added over 250 companies with contact information, so that when we were to launch something like this, we would have a database already started and a list of customers and potential prospects who we would want to target. And as I mentioned, our target demographic would be, in addition to the ones I already mentioned, universities, influencers, equipment manufacturers, athlete recruiters, advertisers, and marketers. When I talk about our target market, I have created a landing page as well, which gives a breakdown of what that looks like. And our target market is primarily youth athletes, professional, head coaches, new friends, grandma, grandpa, mom, and dad. There is an endless number of different targets that would want to have an application. I also have outlined in my business plan roughly 13 user personas, of which I've gone into great length and detail about some of their behaviors, how they would utilize an application like this, as well as some biographical background information on what each one looks like. As part of the market forecast, I got into a little bit about what the total available market looked like, as well as the serviceable available market. And I've given some examples of that as well. I've talked about company advantages, some key differentiators, which our SportsCard application will include, and then also a pretty thorough competitive SWOT analysis of not only our competitors, but a SWOT analysis of our current SportsCard environment that we would be looking at. When I look specifically at the competitive environment, there are a number of different competitors that I talk about, many of which we already know, the social media giants like Instagram, some of the traditional trading card companies like Upper Deck, as well as some of the non-traditional marketers like Polo, for example, who has their own line of business trading cards. When I looked at our SWOT analysis, some of the strengths that I can speak to that Rick and I offer is we have a very robust industry knowledge in sport. Both have technology backgrounds. We both have some small business experience working in the hockey industry, and we both have extensive sales and marketing backgrounds. Some of the weaknesses that the organization currently have that we're dealing with is lack of resources. Me not being from Tennessee, I'm still developing my network, and then of course we need to find a software development team that could help us execute on a platform like this. Currently, the opportunities, there's no such product that exists on the market. And then when we looked at some of the threats, I went into great deal in depth as far as what some of those threats are, including data and privacy issues, data security threats, and really just the idea that someone could steal the idea. Now, again, that as I've gone through this process, I think the one conclusion I've come to is really there are no original ideas. And I think it comes down to execution and really investing in myself and my business partner. Both of us, of which would bring work ethic, industry knowledge, as well as a passion for developing a concept. Part of the overall market analysis, I looked at some of the risks to the business, including regulation and environment, and what some of those things that we would need to be concerned about. And then as far as the sales and marketing analysis, I provided an overview of what some of the products and services that this application would have and we could add in the future. When I looked at our network, one of the things I got into was that just the value of what an application like this can do. Whether you're a current athlete, the parent of an athlete, or a former athlete yourself, anyone with a passion for sports or a background in sports could use an application such as this. As I spent a great deal of time in my business plan discussing the proposed solution and what some of those key benefits would be, as well as a significant amount of time went into my business plan looking at the financials. And one of the things that I spent a great deal of time researching was the cost to developing and building a mobile app. And I took some time and put in some information on, what is required to actually build a mobile app, and that every application is different, but the basic app development steps are the same. Identifying some key things prior to developing an app is important, and one of which is which platform are you going to use? Are you going to use an Android or an iOS? And if you develop for both, it's going to double the cost. Took a look at the costs. One of the things I came to the conclusion real quick is that app budgeting is challenging. And I did a significant amount of research on, what mobile development, what the mobile development costs are. Looked at some of the different features and cost estimates. And one specific study I found was that a simple app can be made with a budget of $24,000 in 4.5 weeks. While a more sophisticated app would require a budget of $137,000 in 26 weeks. Now, again, these are just estimates, but that gives you a sense for the literature that's out there and what it has to say about the cost of developing mobile. As you can see by the following slide, this is just one rough estimate of a summary of what would go into developing a video app. $147,106, and gives you an idea for how much time it's going to take as well. My business partner, he actually came up with some cost estimates and what that would look like. And another thing we looked at was, how do we protect and preserve our intellectual property rights? As it relates to costs, I went into some depth about a pricing strategy, as well as how we're going to distribute the application. I provided an overview in terms of the sales and marketing analysis. I gave some forecasting, as well as some of the ways in which we will make money off of the application. I provided some insights and an overview on some monetization strategies and how others are monetizing and marketing solutions that are similar. And then I also provided some advertising and promotional initiatives that we would undertake once we launched. This would include attending expos, advertising in local industry journals, as well as working with local retailers, including rinks, as well as other training facilities. Traditional means of marketing to our customers would include newsletters, search engine optimization, app store optimization, blog posts, press releases, working with influencers, those types of things. Financial analysis, when I look specifically at startup funding, banks is always a good source of startup funding, venture capitalists, athletes and former athletes, and angel investors. I feel for something like this, athletes or former athletes would be our best source of funding. I also provided our first year expected anticipated expenses. I provided some performance indicators, specifically monetizable daily active users is one of the ways in which we will determine performance. I talked about product or service development, where we'll be located, as Rich and I will be remotely in Minneapolis and Tennessee, and then how we would go about looking for suppliers, including app developers. Finally, I gave a summary of the background of both Rich and myself, as well as some general risks as part of the risk analysis. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to evaluate my business plan. And if you are interested, you can certainly contact me, bradleyconan1@gmail.com. If you have any interest in learning more about my applied project, Digital SportsCard. Thank you very much and have a great day.